Hey guys, Deathscyp here from Y.C.G, your casual gamer. Welcome to part 2 of the simple timer. Now before we get started, just letting you know, this door I built it inside the side note of Deathscyp factory. There's a link on the top right now if you want to go check. It was only because I thought that it needed clarification for the event dispatcher, because I was getting a lot of questions about maybe my video was too quick and not thorough enough about the subject. So go ahead and check this. If you understand the event dispatcher, then you have all the tools to recreate what we did over here. I just pressed the button and the event dispatcher moved this static mesh up. Now for the simple blueprint for the simple timer, let's go ahead and create that. Blueprint class, I choose an actor, call it the simple dash timer dash BP, and save. Now double click inside. So in the components, you're not going to need anything. Just this, like this is fine. You just want something so you can drag inside your level as an instance and refer to. That way you can call the custom events that we're going to build inside. Inside the event graph, you're not going to need those two over here. And like always over here, we're going to cast to first person character, get first person character, get player character, sorry. Like that, and promote it to my character. Always mess up this world. Alright, like that. So now, the way I made my timer, well, my countdown, is with two custom event. So let's go ahead and create those. Custom event. Call this one timer called. And the second one, decrease timer in our case. If your was a timer going up, then it'd be start timer. So the function I use is the set timer by function name. You could be by event, could be whatever, which one you want. I like using the function name. I know it says function and function is over here, and that doesn't make sense that you can use a custom event, but when you check on the function name, it says right here that you could use a custom event as well. And mind you, this is case sensitive, so make sure that you have the right name. So I'm just going to copy this over here and then drag it, control V here. That way I'm sure that's the right way. Now the way this works, I'm just going to go really quick about it. There's a nice video about this function that goes in a lot deeper. It's Mathew Wadstein. I follow his video a lot and online because he's very thorough on the subjects that he goes to. And I'm going to leave a link in the description below, like always. So the way this works basically is that it looks for a function and it calls it, depending on if you want it looping. In our case, yes, because it's a timer. And this is how fast it's going to call it. So 0 is too fast. So you're not even going to have the time to see it. The timer is going to be out and you're going to be dead. So in our case, you choose. So if it was only seconds, I would just do time 1. But in our case, we have 2 milliseconds. So we have millisecond 1 and millisecond 2. So that means 0 for the second, 0 for the millisecond 1, and then millisecond 2, 1. So every 1 millisecond 2, it goes down. Now, as long as you understand this, we're good to go. Now let's build our timer. The first thing you're going to need is we're going to do a branch and promote this to variable, and this is going to be timer stop question mark. So did the player reach the end level, or wherever you want the event to trigger that you're done with the timer? If it's true, timer doesn't go anymore, you're done with the timer. If it's false, it's going to check if there is time left. So let's go ahead and go get our variables. So we get the seconds, get the milliseconds, and like that. So now you want to check if there's time left. So that means all of the 3 should be equal to 0. So let's go to equal, and let's copy this. Whoop. Wow. Control C, Control V. Not need that many. Okay. Like that. and then you're going to need a AND boolean. That way, if you add a pin over here, you're going to be able to check, because you want to make sure that the three of them, it's not only the seconds that needs to be a 0, it's everything else. It would work with just a second, but you want to make sure, because if you have 0 second and you still have milliseconds, you're not fully done. So you need to check all of them. So that's the first condition in our countdown. And that connects us to the false. If it's true, then let's do an event dispatcher right away, and let's call it out of time. So if it's true, we're going to call this, and that could be your game over scene. I don't know what type of game you're doing. If it's false, then we need to go check the next step. So they're not all equal to 0. So let's grab these two over here. So now we break it down. We don't need the second over here because we already eliminated the second over here being the 0. So now we check, is the milliseconds equals to 0? So another AND over here, and branches. So now the reason we do that is because we want to check if they're both equal to 0 at the tick we're going. That means the second needs to be subtracted. So if it's true, then we grab the player character again, get the second, and now we're going to subtract 1. And so you have to set the new value to the seconds, like so. And then what do we have to do next? It's not just this. We have to set our milliseconds back to 99. So 9 each. So set milli 1 and set milli 2 back to 9 and 9. So that's how you build a countdown. You just have to always break it down. So now now we isolated the second. So that's going to be called -1 second. So now we need to do, what do we need to do now? We need to do the -1 millisecond and -1 milli2 seconds. So now what we need over here is we just need this over here. Control C, Control V. Branch it. So now if it's true that it equals to 0, that means that we are minusing the millisecond. So we need this over here. Control C. And we're going to get this and get milli 1 like this, and we can set Control C, set like that, and connect this like that. So now if the second millisecond is equal to 0 but not the first one, we are subtracting 1 millisecond 1 and setting the millisecond 2 to 9, which is already done over here. So let's just copy that over here. So now this one is going to be called -1 millisec -1. And now if it's not equal to 0, then very simple, Control C, Control V, you get milli 2 minus 1 and set milli 2 to this. And there you go. You're done with your basic countdown. So that would be the -1 millisec -2. Oops. -2. So here you go. So if you look at it from up here, it's a lot easier to see. You check over here. There's no more time. You're out of time. Game over. Whatever happened. Level stops. Restart. That's your condition. It's false. Then you check. Is the milliseconds, the both of them, equals to 0? True. Then you take out 1 second, put the 2 milliseconds back to 99. Then it goes again, it goes, oh, they're not equal to 0. Then it checks, does the second millisecond equal to 0? No. Then you subtract the millisecond 2 until you reach the 0. When you get to 0, you subtract 1 milliseconds. Then when this equals 0, back to this location, and then the loop keeps going till you're out of time. Now let's go ahead and see if it works. So inside our level, I don't need that. So I already have a trigger box set up over here. So if you don't have one, that's all we need, a trigger volume inside your level. Just bring it in. And now we're going to drag our simple timer like this over here. And let's jump inside the level blueprint. And now make sure you're selected on the timer like I was. And you're going to create a reference to the simple timer. Now we want to call it, but since in the last episode we created a widget, so let's start with that. Create a widget down here. And in our case, it was called a simple timer UMG. And let's add it to viewport. Now, if you remember, we created a 2 seconds intro for the timer. It would appear and then it would start appearing on screen. So let's give the time for this before the timer goes down, or else it's not going to look nice. If it does for you, be my guest, do it. And now we need to call timer. Timer called. So now just by calling it once, since we set up the value to loopable at this rate, it's going to start going down your timer, and everything should update on screen because we hooked up the variables through the main character to the UMG. So now let's see if it works. So in my case, when I jump inside the level, there was the door that would close behind me, and then the timer goes up and it doesn't work. Let's troubleshoot that. What did I do? Timer called. Did I call it? Did I not write the timer well? Ah, there's a mistake. The timer stop that I created started on true. I don't know why, the boolean. Make sure to check your boolean when you create them. Sometimes the default value is true. I do not know why. Pisses me off more than anything else. Let's try again. Timer goes up and voila, works perfectly. So now all that's left is we're going to add our sound to the stage, and also we're going to end the level over here. So let's go ahead and drag in another trigger volume, call it end level. Make sure you're selected on it, go inside the level blueprint and create an event. Add event on collision on begin overlap. Make sure it's a do once. And now we're going to grab our simple timer that we just created. Set timer stop to true. Now you want it to be true. That way it's going to stop the timer when you're done. And let's make a print string that does the you are done. You won. There you go. And now we just need to add the sound. So in my case, the best way I found to do it is you can do with a play sound 2D, but the play sound 2D doesn't have a stop node. So if I go play sound 2D and I choose my sound cue that we created in the last episode, from here I cannot do stop sound. It's not there. I don't know if there is one in your version of the engine, kudos. But the best way I found to do this was to go and grab my sound cue that's already there, I created, and just drag it in your graph. And it's going to create a add component, add audio component. You could just go and look for that, but I find it's faster this way. I'm going to choose the volume right away. I'm going to set it to 0.5. I don't want it to auto activate. That way it's not going to auto activate when I start the level by mistake or whatnot. And from the return value, I'm going to promote this to variable and call it BGM, background music. And then you can just decide how it's going to play from here, And now since you made it inside a variable, at the end level, you're going to be able to grab that BGM and fade out. You can even choose, if it's like, let's say you have a cutscene coming up, you can even choose to have it like take a little bit more time, like, or you can choose the fade out volume to be not 0, like 0.2. And the only reason I put the sound to 0.5 is because I wanted to be able to talk to you guys while I'm demonstrating that everything works. Now let's try it out. So we go inside our level. I walk up to that little box. The door closes behind me. The music goes up. Timer goes. And now it's time to escape our level. And there you go. You are done. So hope you enjoyed this. Now I know it's very easy in 30 seconds to get all the way here. So in the next episode, we're going to be building new traps and obstacles for the player to stop him from reaching the end too quick. So stay tuned and see you next time.